All right, let's get started, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our monthly boot camp. This is roughly our third or fourth year we've been doing our boot camps first Friday of every month from 9 to noon. This program is designed to offer a ton of resources for real estate agents. We're going to go through marketing, training, tools, best practices, some really cool products that agents are using to build their businesses. I always like to start the program by letting everyone know that this is open to real estate agents from any firm. So we are a real estate firm, but the purpose of the program is not recruiting. It's the only thing that our program is about is helping you build a successful business. So you will get as much out of today's program as an agent who is at LAER. I see we have a nice mix of some of our LAER agents as well as some agents from other brokerages. So this is a live program, and we try to get you off a little bit early, but typically it does run for the entire 3 hours. It's jam-packed, so you'll want to make sure that you have a pen and paper available. We always say knowledge is not power, execution is power. So if you're going to take the time to really focus on your business with us today, we want to make sure that you walk away with some great information that you're going to go execute on. So throughout the program, I'll give you some hints on items that I think you should go execute on. If you don't already have these pieces incorporated into your business. And I always say, I think it's good to have 5 to 10 items that you're going to execute on. Here's the challenge. There's going to be a lot of information. We're going to share with you today 30 or 40 items that you could go execute on today, but that can get overwhelming. So on a piece of paper, just write down 1 to 10. The goal is to write down the 10 things that you're going to work on after you leave today's program. Here's some of the things I promise to give you throughout today. There's going to be listing presentations, buyer presentation, pre-listing packages. We're going to give you so much marketing stuff because we want to make sure that you are set up for success. When you go sit in front of a client, we want to make sure that you look great, especially now that the August 17th deadline has passed. Many agents are coming to us saying, I need a really good buyer presentation. We're going to give that to you as well. Our marketing team has created all of the product. They've created the presentations. We're going to share with you the Canva templates so that you can go in and make each item your own. So let me get out of this for a moment. The first, just to give a little background, I'll spend 2 minutes just sharing who our brokerage is. LAER Realty Partners, we are based out of New England. We have about 40 offices in New England and Florida. And we're an independent real estate company with that's 10 years old. We have about 800 real estate agents in New England and Florida. And our goal from the very beginning was to help all agents accelerate their success in real estate. So sometimes agents ask, where did we get our name from? LAER, when we launched the company, our goal was to attract and build great real estate agents. And so we look at it that what makes a great real estate agent? The best agents are strong, they're negotiators of difficult terrain, and they are true protectors of their clients. So when we started the company a little over 10 years ago, we put those words into a Google search: strong, protector, negotiator. And the first thing that came up in our search was a lion. So we said, that's it. We're going to build our brand around the lions of real estate. In the jungle, lions stay together within layers. In the real estate world, the lions of real estate are at LAER. We changed the spelling of LAER because ours is the mirror image of real, since we're in the real estate business. And then we created the acronym Local Agents Extraordinary Results. So we're about 10 years old. We help about 4,000 families a year buy, sell, and rent real estate. And we are super committed to helping agents live very successful lives with real estate being a very big part of their day-to-day. So this booklet, by the way, is our LAER program and services guide. Even if you're not a LAER agent, you might want to download this because we're going to give you a lot of links to resources, including a lot of branding pieces that you can download right from this booklet. This guide is typically what our agents use to know the tools, training, technology that is out there to help them grow their business. You can download a PDF version of this at LAER, LAER Realty.com/success tools. So LAERrealty.com/success tools. When you get over to that page, you'll see this booklet. It's 40 pages. If you scroll to the bottom of the screen, there's a place where you can download the PDF. If you have a printer nearby, not a bad idea to just print it out so you can take notes right on the booklet. Again, in case you just came on a little bit late, this program is open to agents at any firm. You'll get as much out of today's program as agents at our company. Okay, so once you download the booklet, the first few pages go through our company values. I always say if you're considering making a change in brokerages, make sure your values align with the brokerage you're going to, just so you know that you're going to be there for some time. We also have a little piece in there about why we like being independent. We're not a huge franchise. We're a small little independent real estate company that happens to have a lot of very high performing real estate agents. And we help a lot of buyers and sellers and renters each year in the marketplaces we do business. We believe being independent is like a state of mind, like thinking outside of the box when it comes to everything, including your real estate business. Now, as you go through the guide, again, you can download this at LAER Realty, www.laerrealty.com/success tools. As you go through the book, it's divided into 4 sections. So throughout today's program, we'll come back to this only because it has a lot of links embedded in it, links that will help you in your business no matter what. We're going to spend the first part of this morning going through a lot of marketing and branding pieces because the marketing and branding is so important. Because when it comes to real estate, 10 or 20 years ago, when you joined a real estate brokerage, a lot of real estate agents really focused on like having a big name brand behind them. And why did they want that? Because people recognized the brand. Well, over the last 10 years with technology, social media, and internet platforms, the brand in real estate has become the real estate agent. It is not the name of a brokerage that you work with. It is who the real estate agent is as a human being. It is the consumer is no longer picking the name of a company and calling that company to look for a realtor. Instead, the consumer is going direct to the real estate agent who they already know, like, and trust, either because they know them or feel like they know them from their online presence. So it's super important that you, as the brand, have systems in place to be marketing and branding to the people within your communities. So we're going to spend the first part of this morning talking quite a bit about branding. as you go through this booklet, again, you can download it at laerrealty.com/success tools. And anytime you see something underlined within the booklet, that is a hyperlink to more information. So you can click on that and it will take you on a little path to learn more about whatever piece is being spoken about within the booklet. Since we're going to spend so much time on marketing and branding this morning for your business, the very first link that we're going to go visit is this laeragentservices.com link. One of the things you'll notice that makes us a little bit unique as compared to other real estate brokerages, our agents spend a great deal of time on our LAER Agent Services page each day. And for those of you heading over there now, again, it's laeragentservices.com. One of the things you'll notice right off the bat is it is not password protected. Because our goal in the industry is to help every agent become the best version of themselves. So we open up our training, everything that we do for the most part is open to all real estate agents. Just want to. Okay. So we're over at LAER Agent Services, which is our agent dashboard. We're going to spend about an hour on this section because there's just so much content that you definitely will want to utilize in your business. Just to show you guys how to navigate this a little bit, it's pretty simple. First of all, there's a little navigational section right at the top. Some of this, for example, there's a link there for our Happy Agent host schedule. If you are a LAER agent, that host schedule tells you where we have office hosts for all of our locations in case you need to have somebody drop off a check or something like that, and you need somebody in an office. If you're a LAER agent, that host schedule will tell you which offices have hosts in them today. We also have a link at the top to our LAER newsletter. This is our internal company newsletter. By the way, if you're a LAER agent, we love when agents report news to us. This newsletter comes out once a month and it just talks about, not only does it share like really cool tools, technology, it's only like a 4-page newsletter, so no heavy lifting, but there's always like great content within there. But it also tells you what's happening in the lives of our agents. By the way, when you go over to the newsletter, if you scroll down to the bottom, you can first of all download old versions, only because I have agents email into Happy Agent all the time saying, hey, do you remember there was a newsletter where it talked about this particular technology? Could you point me in the right direction? And we'll let them know, like, oh, go to the February version of the newsletter and you'll find it. Anyways, all the versions of our company newsletter are right here, but also there's a section to report news. So if you're a LAER agent, we love when you report news because that's how it gets into our newsletter. So if you have like maybe a new designation or just something exciting happening in your business or your life, report it over to our news team so that it gets included into our monthly newsletter. We have a section up here for recently joined agents. We'll come to the marketing in a second. Most of these other sections here up at the top basically scroll you down to the bottom. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is our buttons. So what do real estate agents love to do? They love to explore houses. So we designed our agent services dashboard so you get to explore houses. So as you scroll down, you will go check out each of the little houses in here and see what kind of cool information is available for you. So right at the top, there's a section for recently joined agents. The very first link, by the way, is the program and services guide, which is this guide that we were just looking at a moment ago. The second section for recently joined LAER agents is our LAERGPS.com. Basically, it's a site where we've put like hundreds of the most frequently asked questions when agents join the brokerage, but I'll show you some other ways that you can get help as well. And then we have a section with just marketing pieces under Tell the World. And that's really for new agents, like letters, announcements, postcards when an agent first joins our brokerage, some pieces we've already put together. We also announced all of our recently joined agents right here. If you did recently join LAER and you don't see your information here, it's probably because we don't have your photo or your bio yet. We typically wait to introduce you to our team once until we have your professional photo and your bio. So if you're new to LAER and you don't see your info there yet, it's because we're missing one or the other. All right, now we're going to head down to the nitty gritty, the really good stuff that you'll want to start using for your business. I want to reiterate, knowledge is not power, execution is power. What your life and your business look like 5 years from now has everything to do with what you execute on. I say this only because having been in the business now for 25 years, I do sometimes see real estate agents get so caught up in going to classes and taking designations and getting like learning all kinds of stuff, but really never implementing. And implementing is where the financial piece comes in. You got to be out implementing on what you learn from each class. That's why I'm going to say the goal for today should be, I'm going to get a pen here just so I can write down and give you some hints along the way. But the goal for today should be I'd say 5 to 10 items that you're going to go execute on after you leave today's program. And I'm going to give you hints. So I'll also say there's probably 40 or 50 items that you could go implement on. So even if you're agent that's doing $100 million in business and everything's going exactly your way, I promise you'll still have information today that you could go tweak your business to even make it a little bit better. And by the way, the reason I say 5 to 10 items is, yes, you could sit here for the next 3 hours and write down 40 or 50 items that you have to add to your business. We don't want you to get overwhelmed, and we don't want you to freeze in place because it looks like too much to execute on. There's a Japanese business philosophy called Kaizen. And what Kaizen says is you don't have to make these huge leaps in your business. Just making tiny, small tweaks to your business each day. Imagine what your business would look like in 1 year. So Kaizen is all about taking teeny tiny little steps each day consistently so that you have massive impact on your business over a year or 2 years. Kaizen is not about taking the list of 40 items that you could go execute on and stopping your business for 3 months while you go execute each item. No, it's about blocking off 30 minutes a day that you take your list of 5 to 10 items, block off 30 minutes a day and go execute on them. Okay, we're going to start giving you guys some stuff to go execute on. So the very first house we're going to visit is this guides, presentations, and brochures. Now, a couple things I like to point out is we are a company that runs on Canva. We kind of love Canva. We have a robust marketing team, and they constantly create really good marketing pieces for real estate agents. And when I say marketing, I'll also say branding, like listing presentations, buyer presentations, investor packages, seller guides. Our team is constantly putting out great content. And the beautiful thing about Canva is it's so user friendly. So maybe you're not great at technology. You can be great at Canva because that's how easy it is to use. It's built for laymen. It's not built for a marketing executive like some of the other programs we've used in the past. Canva is built for regular people to go in and make beautiful marketing pieces. So our team constantly creates beautiful pieces, and then we put them here. And when you open them, you're opening a template. So as soon as you open any of our pieces here, it becomes yours. So one of the presentations that I really want to point out, and there's tons here, is, let me see if I can find it. You'll see we have expired listing presentations, high performance home presentations for buyers and for sellers, listing presentations, buyer guides, seller guides. I'm going to open this one, a LAER guide to buyer representation. This one is for New England. The only reason you'll notice some of the pieces are for specific territories. That's because of the way our company operates. For example, this is a guide to buyer representation for New England agents. In Florida, we're typically transaction brokers, so the wording is slightly different on some of the Florida pieces that you'll see within our platform. But other than that, anything in Canva, you can take and make it your own. So this is our guide to buyer representation. So a couple things. I'm sharing this one first, only because of with all the changes with the National Association of Realtors, one of the things that we've been talking to agents about is it's really important to articulate your value to buyers the same as you've always articulated your value to sellers. So over the last 20 years, it's super normal for agents to have a strong listing presentation. And listing presentations look different for every agent. Some agents go in and have like a bound booklet. Some show up and have their laptop or a tablet where they basically go through like a PowerPoint presentation, which is what this is. This is like more a presentation style. I did see one agent who customized this and then sent it to Staples and had it made into like a really nice flip book that she uses at presentations, at her buyer presentations. Anyways, this particular buyer presentation goes through, and you'll see we leave placeholders in there for like your bio, your photo, stuff like that. This is branded LAER. So if you are with a different brokerage, of course, you'll have to change out logos and stuff. But then it goes through the process of buying a house, from evaluation, consultation, representation. You'll see we start it right off. Do I need a buyer agent? And it talks about why the buyer should be represented. There's a section in there about how agents are paid. The buyer representation contract. So we start, and then we say put samples of the actual contract within to explain it to the consumer right from the very start. Once you get past that part, it goes into like determining a price range and evaluating mortgage options and shopping for more than just an interest rate and getting pre-approved. So this is a pretty long presentation. I want to say it's like 40 plus slides, but all of these are in Canva, which means it's designed to make it your own. So you can go through and you might say, hey, this one's way too long for me. I want a 10-page presentation. Then you can go through and take out the pieces that you think you don't need. I do want to point out because this is very common in some of our buyer materials, is we teach our agents that it's really important that you have a conversation about Zillow when you are speaking to buyers or sellers. And what the conversation you should be having is that if you're not talking to your clients about Zillow, I promise you, you're losing business to Zillow, because consumers are programmed to go search for real estate at Zillow. So we embed into our presentation a conversation. So here, as you're going through your buyer presentation, you say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, by the way, I wanted to talk to you about Zillow, because one of the things when you're searching for a house is we have to figure out what's the best place for you to go search for real estate. And too often, clients think the best place to search for real estate is Zillow. What I could tell you as a real estate professional is that Zillow is not a great place to search for real estate. First of all, Zillow does not update real time. So you're not getting real information. And too often, I have buyers that go to Zillow searching for real estate. They fall in love with a house that went under agreement 2 weeks ago. Secondly, for real estate agents watching this today, go try Zillow as a buyer. Pretend you're a buyer and go check out Zillow. We assume that it's this really amazing search platform. It's honestly not. It doesn't allow for very narrow searches. It only allows for searches within a $50,000 range. Also, many buyers think that when they're going through Zillow, they're reaching out to a listing agent, which we know is not the case. They're basically reaching out to an agent who's paying for Zillow leads. As for sellers, we know those estimates are inaccurate. And Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, one of the reasons you don't want to be shopping on Zillow is you're going to be inundated by sales calls from other real estate companies, mortgage companies, because really what Zillow is, they're in the business of selling your name and phone number to people within the real estate industry. So you have to have these conversations. When you think about buyer presentations and you think about seller presentations, one of the things that I like to remind agents, there's a wonderful book by Atul Gawande called The Checklist Manifesto. And the Checklist Manifesto is a book about all the businesses that are run off of checklists. So, for example, when you get on a plane to go on vacation, that the pilot has a series of checklists that they go through before they take off. Here's a list of the things that they do before they take off. They do it again when they land. Here's a whole list of things we have to do before we land. It's also super common within the medical industry. If you're going in for surgery, for example, the surgeon and all the people, the nurses, everybody has a checklist that they work off of. So the whole idea of the checklist manifesto is that if you want superior results for your business, then you should be working off of checklists for everything. The great thing about working off of checklists is that when you have a failure of a checklist, and for real estate agents, what would a failure of a checklist look like? For example, it might look like that you didn't get the listing. Somebody else got the listing. And then you find out that the reason the other person got the listing is because that company does a lot of charity work. Well, you do a lot of charity work too, and you just didn't talk about it in your listing presentation. That would be a failure in the checklist. And all you have to do to fix that moving forward is go revamp the checklist and put a little spot in there to make sure you talk about charity work within your presentation. So the reason I went off on a tangent about checklists is because your buyer presentation and your seller presentation, these are checklists for you. They don't look like a checklist. They don't feel like a checklist, but these are all the things that you want to kind of check off as you go along. things that you want to prompt yourself to have a conversation with the consumer. And again, I think it's super important to have a conversation with every consumer about Zillow, because if you are not, you're losing business to Zillow. Here's another one. This in the buyer presentation, another piece to check off your list. Do you talk to the buyer about protocols for visiting open houses? So it's important to have the conversation so that the buyers aren't just willy-nilly heading out to open houses, putting properties under agreement when you have a signed buyer contract with that person. So just another part of your checklist. Here's another one, off-market properties. So when you're doing your buyer presentation, we put a page in here so that it prompts you to have a conversation with your buyer about what they should do if they see a for sale by owner that they might be interested in buying. And that means, of course, call you. So this is a very long presentation. Again, you can go through and customize it as much as you want, but we go through a 10-step process to buying a house. And to us, it does a few things. Number one, it articulates value. Again, many of you are super used to this when it comes to a listing presentation. Like you show up and you do this already on a listing presentation. But many agents, at least up until August 17th this year, really didn't have an amazing buyer presentation. And so I'm proud to report that we've created one for you. This is pretty comprehensive. I don't think we've forgotten anything in here, but you have to make it your own. This is your checklist manifesto for your business. And the goal is that when you see a failure in your business, something that you could have done better, figure out how to go back and revamp your checklist, which is your buyer presentation, to make it better for next time. So I'm not going to go through all that. As you can see, let's see how many pages that. Okay, it looks like it's 47 pages. Again, some agents do this right from their laptop when they meet with the client. Some do a printed flip booklet that they go through, and that's just the buyer presentation. By the way, let's talk about Canva for a second. One of the things I want to point out is all of these are Canva templates. So if you're not familiar with Canva, the way it works is when you open one of our templates, the template is now yours. You now own that document. So as soon as you open the buyer presentation template, it's now yours. I only say that so that if you go in and add your contact information and your photos, stuff like that, nobody else is going to see it because it's only on your version that you opened. One of the pieces that I like to point out is that there's two versions of Canva. There's a free version and a paid version of Canva. The paid version is super inexpensive. I want to say it's $15 a month. And I strongly urge real estate agents to buy the pro version, the $15 a month version of Canva. And when it comes to spending money, I don't take it lightly. I don't tell you to go buy everything out there. But Canva is an important tool. Why? Because you are the brand in real estate. Your company is not the brand. You are the brand. And so you want your brand to look good, and you'll need to invest some time and resources into making sure your brand looks good, and Canva allows you to do that. So here's another one, the Monopoly. We have a Monopoly. This is just a flyer. There's tons of stuff for you guys to go in and explore. I'll show you a couple other things. One of the pieces that you might notice, now, if you have the free version of Canva, is it possible for you to still use all these amazing resources that I'm sharing with you? And the answer is yes. You can still use all of the guides, presentations, brochures. However, every once in a while, you're going to get stuck if you're using the free version of Canva and not the $15 a month version of Canva. So let's talk about where you might get stuck. Here's a listing presentation. Let's go in here for a second. So just like I just showed you a buyer presentation, this is a listing presentation. And this one's 38 pages, a little bit shorter. So the one area where you might get stuck if you are using the free version of Canva is stock images. So this right here is a stock image. What that means is this person who is a real estate agent, I don't know who that is. They don't work for my company. I don't know who these customers are. This is a stock image that Canva has provided to us. If you're using the free version of Canva and you open up a listing presentation that we've created for you, occasionally you might go through the presentation and see a Canva watermark across one of these images. All it means is you have to change out the image. So if you're using the free version of Canva and you log in and do this listing presentation and it's got a Canva watermark, all you're going to do is switch this photo, pick out a different photo. It lets you click on it and you can upload a photo that you own, or you can go see what you have available. The free version of Canva also has stock images. It's just not as many images. So you would just go and change out that photo and then you're all set to use the whole presentation. So that's the one little nuance is if you're using the free version of Canva, sometimes you're going to have to change out an image. The upgraded version of Canva does some other cool things, like you can schedule your social media posts, etc., right from within the platform, which is really nice as well. Some of you might say, well, I like the presentation even if it has the Canva watermark on some of the photos. That's fine as well, but it won't let you download the presentation. So when you use Canva, basically what most agents do is once they're completed with a project, whether it's a booklet or a social media piece or a presentation, they click on this share button. And then under the share button, there's a download button. And now they download it so that they now own it on their computer. If you ever try to go download on Canva and it's not letting you download, I guarantee you there's a photo somewhere within the document that is for the premium version of Canva. One last piece, agents are getting sued like crazy for using copywritten images. I can tell you because we got sued twice last year for copywritten images. It's a thing. It's like one of those scams out there. So I only warn you because you have to make sure that if you're using images, in fact, I tell people don't use images from Google because there's a good chance that the image was put there to trap you into using it so that a photographer can sue you for damages. So best practices, buy the upgraded version of Canva so that you have as many images as possible. That's best practice number one. Best practice number two is if you're going to use an image, if you're not going to use the paid version of Canva and you're grabbing images from somewhere else, really make sure that you own the images. Don't just grab an image off of Google. And third, best practice, you can take your own images. So like maybe you go through this whole listing presentation and all the photos are just of you showing houses or houses that you've sold. So that way you're absolutely safe. You don't have to worry about getting sued by somebody for using a copywritten image. Just a couple more of these. And then I'll go through the ones that I think you should add to your list of things to execute on. We have a guide to real estate investing. If you're a LAER agent, we have a really nice 4-page brochure to include in your presentations down at the bottom. I like this little local. This is like a little newsletter template that, let's just say you have a new listing in Kennebunk, Maine. This would be like a little 2-page guide that you could leave at your open houses or to give out at your open houses. And you would customize it with the 10 coolest places to visit in Kennebunk, Maine. So all kinds of cool resources there. The other one I like to point out, we have a buyer guide and a seller guide. Let's see. Here's the seller guide. So this is like a printable guide. This is like a booklet. How I foresee using this is printing them and binding them at the office. This is a 14-page booklet about selling your house. I'll do a quick presentation of this. All this is customizable. So this is the complete guide to selling your home. So this would be an insert into your like listing package that you leave behind at the homeowner's house. You can go through and customize any of this. So if there's something that you really don't love for some reason, you can take out entire pages or sections, whatever you want, but it's a pretty comprehensive guide to selling a house. We also have one for buyers. And as I mentioned, we have one for sellers. So here's another one, the buyer's guide. This again is a printable guide. So this one is an 18-page booklet. You guys can kind of go through, customize it on your own, but that's great for printing out and leaving behind with a buyer. The other one I want to point out, you guys will get to meet Craig, who's our Chief Sustainability Officer, in a few minutes. And one of the things we've worked on this year is we have a lot of agents focusing their businesses on high performance homes, high performance listings, or working with buyers who are specifically seeking high performance real estate. So we created listing presentations and buyer presentations for that segment of the business. And the other one that's been super popular, we have a guide to understanding buyer agency and then why sellers should offer a buyer agent commission. So that's kind of become an interesting topic for listing agents. This is a nice flyer that you can include within your handouts. When you're going on a listing presentation, you're going to put your picture up here. You can customize it any which way you want, but this is to explain to sellers why they may want to consider offering buyer agent comp. And then we also have this nice guide on buyer agency, like why a buyer should not want to be unrepresented when buying a house. So it talks about transparency in the new laws, the advantages of having a buyer agent, 80 ways a buyer agent works for buyer, how buyer agents are compensated. This is like a booklet format. This we put in like different levels of commission options. You guys can take this out. I thought it was interesting. We have a few agents that are offering different levels of compensation for buyers. Totally up to you. This is just something that we threw in as an add-on into the booklet. But if you want to just have your own set amount, although I will just put a caveat out there, it's never set, everything is negotiable. You can update it there. Okay, there's tons of stuff here. I'm not going to go through everything because there's tons and tons and tons of pieces in here. But let's make a list really quick of the things that you should be executing on if you don't have some of these items. So I'm going to make a list so that throughout today's program, I can give you a reminder of the stuff you should be working on for execution, because knowledge is not power, execution is power. Number one, you got to have a buyer presentation. In the new world we live in, you must have one. How long should it take you to do a buyer presentation? Well, if you wanted a really, 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 really good buyer presentation, to make it once that you can use over and over again, it should take you like 7 hours, unless you have a company that already did it for you. And that is what we've done. We've already created the buyer presentation for you. I showed it to you. Go download it and make it your own. How long should it take you to make it your own? 30 minutes maybe? So all it is really reading through it, seeing if you agree with everything, take out the stuff that you don't want, add anything that you would like, and then make sure you have a nice bio and photo. So you got to have a buyer presentation to be successful in real estate. Number two, you need a listing presentation. So maybe you already have a listing presentation, but go back and review it. Review the listing presentation you have, review the ones that we have on our site. We have a few different ones to choose from. And remember, when you're looking at your buyer presentation and your listing presentation, these are your checklist manifestos for success. So as you go through your listing presentation, go through like, what are the things I have to make sure I talk about? And then throughout the year, anytime you have a checklist failure, meaning you didn't get the listing or you didn't get the buyer, for example, those could be failures in the checklist. Then you go back and you revamp the checklist. You just add one little item that you need to talk about next time on your next appointment. So if you don't have them already, you need a good buyer presentation. You need a good listing presentation. That's two things. Three, you need a buyer package. I think everybody should have a buyer package, a seller package, and an investor package. So 3 different packages. And these are like leave behinds. These are, you get a folder and you put a bunch of documentation into the folder and you leave it behind with the consumer after you've met with them. So after you meet with a seller or an investor or a first-time home buyer. So everything you need to create these packages is somewhere on this page. So, and by the way, in case you came in late, all of this is at LAERagentservices.com. We're just right in the very first section. So LAERagentservices.com, you do not need a password. You can just jump on and start utilizing it. But you want to have a buyer package where you go through all these items and say, okay, in my buyer package, I'm going to have a buyer book, maybe a locals guide, maybe that monopoly board of the buying process, maybe this little booklet on understanding buyer agency. So you go through and pick like 3 or 4 items that you can leave behind after you meet with a buyer. You do the same thing for your seller package and you do the same thing for your investor package. How many should you have? I think you should have 10 of each package already completed. Really important. We don't get the opportunity to spend a ton of time on this today, but your success in your business has everything to do with your energy, your personal energy. And when you are ready for business, such as already having a killer buyer presentation, seller package, a buyer package, an investor package, that in your car, you have this huge Tupperware bucket in your trunk and you've got your packages already in there. So when you go out into the world, your energy, when you are out at Starbucks or out doing your food shopping, your energy is telling the world that you are open for business. So some of you say, oh, I'm always open for business. You say that, but sometimes your energy does not say that. It's really important that you are always ready for business. And one of the ways to do that is make sure that you are ready. That if you met a buyer right now, could you hand them a package and say, here's all the information that I have. I would love to schedule an appointment with you to go through everything, but this package will articulate why so many buyers work with me when shopping for their first home. So go get those packages. So I've listed off 3 things you should be working on if you don't have these: a killer buyer presentation, a killer listing presentation, and then your packages: a buyer package, a seller package, an investor package. One last thing I want to say that I think is a massive opportunity for real estate agents is once you have your buyer presentation and listing presentation, you are armed to present a class to somebody. So they're designed for one-on-one consultations with buyers and sellers, but you take that listing presentation and start doing seller seminars. It's an awesome opportunity because there's not a lot of people competing in the seminar space in most of the markets that we do business in. Where do you do a seminar? Well, it could be, if you're a LAER agent, do a seminar at any LAER office, or go to a local bank and say, I'm a local real estate agent. Can I do a seminar at your branch on a Saturday morning? They will say yes. A VFW club, a coffee shop, doesn't matter. You already have all the stuff to create a killer seminar. So think about, maybe you already have your buyer presentation, listing presentation, and your buyer, seller, and investor package. So why not now take it up a notch and say, okay, I'm going to get out there and start doing these seminars. When you're doing your seminars, don't forget to also consider online seminars. What does that mean? That means like once a month, inviting everybody in your database to a Zoom meeting where you present your presentation, your buyer presentation, your seller presentation, and maybe have a home inspector come on, like do a 1-hour event. Do it first Saturday of every month is your online seller seminar. Second Saturday of every month is your online buyer seminar. You invite people and then you put them up on YouTube and you'll get leads. About 3 months ago, we got a lead from an online seminar that I did during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, I did an online buyer seminar where we had like a home inspector, an attorney. I did a buyer presentation, and I did the seminar because it was part of a program I was using to teach agents how to do seminars. Anyways, we got a lead. Like several years later, leads are still coming through from YouTube from that seminar. So think about how you can force multiply some of the tools that you have here. All right, we got into one house so far. We're 1 hour into the program. That's why I always say we try to get you off a little bit before noon, but there's so much content here and it's all really strong content. Like there's nothing here that's going to waste your time. There's tons of information and resources. Okay. Next, let's talk about really fast. I'm so sick of talking about the NAR settlement, but I'm going to give it 1 minute today. When you're thinking about your packages, your buyer packages, seller packages, and investor packages, if you need documentation to talk about the value of a buyer agent, for example, why should somebody hire a buyer agent? Under this NAR resources, we went out and collected all the best articles that are out there so that you have a third-party resource explaining why they should hire a buyer agent. Same with why sellers should pay a buyer agent. We've collected all kinds of resources on it. For our agents, we also created this playbook. This is a 145-page playbook. We've embedded all the new real estate forms for the areas we do business in, which is Mass, New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Florida. I feel like I'm forgetting one. But anyways, all the states that we do business in, this is the playbook. You can download it. In order for the links to work, by the way, you have to download this when you click on it. But we go through every single form, all the new forms by state, and explain exactly how to fill it out. So we give you samples of every single form. So it's a 144-page playbook on all the forms. And that's all I'm going to say about that because I'm sick of forms. However, I will say to you, as real estate professionals, it's super interesting that there's a lot of agents out there still using the old forms. And you're doing that at your own peril, because I've seen it, for example, in Massachusetts, I'm seeing offers come in from agents who have not been trained on the new forms. So the agent is submitting an offer on using the old real estate offer forms, which don't talk about their commission. And so that agent is basically, and this has happened multiple times already, the agent is negotiating with our agent who understands exactly the consequences of not putting your commission into the offer. But we represent our seller. So we have to do what's best for our seller. And then the agent comes along 2 weeks later and says, oh, I forgot to ask you, what is the seller offering for compensation? Well, by that point, the deal's been negotiated. So really important that you make sure you are educated on the forms. First of all, for your client, but also, unfortunately, I think there's agents that just aren't going to get paid for their hard work because they're not using the new forms. All right. The next house is our weekly social media assistant. We'll have Sergio from our marketing department come on in a little while and talk about our social media program. If you're a LAER agent and you have special marketing requests, there's a button here for that. So we provide tons of resources, as you can already see, but maybe you need something very special. We get a lot of requests. Agents are putting an ad in their church bulletin and they want us to help them create an ad, or they're putting an ad in a real estate book, or it could be literally anything. You need help creating a marketing piece. We have a very robust marketing team. They're here to help you. You fill out this request and our team will create the piece for you and send it to you. The other piece, open house resources. Tons of open house resources here for agents. First of all, we have cool little pop-by gifts where you can make these little pop-by tags that say, hey, thanks for popping by my open house. You stick them or tape them onto microwave popcorn as like a little cute giveaway for your open house. We also have activity sheets for kids. If you're hosting open houses, it's a good idea to have a little area sectioned off for kids that come in so that they have something to do when the parents are looking at the house. We have these little signs and sign-in sheets, etc. Also, if you are a LAER agent, there's 2 buttons here. One is for need open house coverage. If you're a LAER agent, you probably every once in a while get emails saying, hey, I need open house coverage for this open house on Saturday. If you have a ton of listings and you can't cover your open houses, we have agents that want to cover your open houses because they want to get leads, new buyer leads. So if you ever need open house coverage, you fill out this form and then you just say what you need and you pick which offices you would like to notify. And then it sends a mass email to those agents in that office. Same thing with a broker open house. If you're doing a broker open house, we want to notify everybody in the office that you're doing a broker open house so that you get as many people there as possible. We also have a section here for commercial resources. We're primarily a residential real estate brokerage, but over the last few years, as the market has shifted, we're seeing more and more agents get involved with commercial real estate. And so we have we've been building out this whole section of resources for commercial agents. So under here, you'll find a commercial listing presentation, commercial valuation models, offering memorandums, things like that. So that's just for agents that are really focusing on a commercial niche for their business. Next, under here, signs, apparel, and marketing, print marketing. Couple things I want to point out here. First, if you're a LAER agent, there's all kinds of like LAER branded stuff you can buy up at the top. These will take you to the LAER for sale sign pages. Markful, they do like all kinds of print stuff from sweatshirts to business cards. These will all take you right to the LAER pages for stuff. But let's keep going down to the bottom. Print marketing. And you'll want to take out your pencil or your pen, because this is where I'm going to say these are some areas that you're going to want to add to your to-do list. Number one, MLS mailings. By the way, I want to start by just stating we don't get paid anything for promoting any of these products. The only reason we promote them is we think they really help your business. They are phenomenal for your business. So number one is MLS mailings. Anytime you can find for your business a set it and forget it system, you must sign up for it. Because one of the challenges you will eventually run into as a real estate agent is you only have so much time in the day and you're only one person. You cannot do everything. So you have to create protocols and systems so that stuff is happening in your business even when you're not actually doing the stuff. The stuff still happens. One of those is MLS mailings. MLS mailings does just listed, just sold postcards. And these are what makes MLS mailings a little different is that it hooks right to your MLS. So you sign up once, you put in your logo, your photo, and then you tell the system, every time I do a new listing, I want 200 postcards to go out. What the system will then do is when you get a listing, it'll send you an email and say, we've designed your postcard, because it pulls your new listing from MLS. It already has your photo and your logo. It pulls the house photos from MLS. So you'll get an email saying, here's the just listed postcard. Can we send it? Same on the buy side. It'll say, hey, we saw that you just sold this property. Can we send 200 postcards? And it's all pre-designed for you. Pricing is not bad. Pricing, basically, you can send out 100 postcards for $96, or the jumbo postcards for $127. So MLS mailings, set it and forget it system. I think it's a no-brainer for your business anytime you get a new listing or sell a property. The personal marketing company is the other one that I think is a no-brainer. And the personal marketing company, it's TPMCO, the personal marketing company. They have lots of products. And let me see if I can find the one. I think it's this one that I like to recommend. Yes, it's the automated client follow-up program. So TPMCO.com, the personal marketing company. They do all kinds of postcards. They also do just listed, just sold postcards, but specifically the resource I want to share with you is the automated client follow-up system. And you'll see it's $48. It's a one-time charge of $48. And they will send to your client 21 mailings over a 5-year period. And all of the mailings are branded to you with your contact information and your phone number and your photo and your logo. The reason this is important is you've probably heard the NAR statistics about how many consumers go back to the real estate agent they used when they bought the house. It's a really low number. And often that's because once we sell the house to the buyer, we're on to the next transaction. So this is a nice way to stay in touch, even if you forget to stay in touch. So basically you're paying 48 bucks and the personal marketing co will make sure you're staying in touch with this person for the next 5 years. By the way, how often do people on average sell their house? Usually within 5 years. So this is like you making sure that you're staying in touch regularly through mailers over a 5-year period. So TPMCO, the personal marketing company.com, definitely recommend that as well. Let's go back to Wise Pelican. Wise Pelican is also a mailing company. They have like this database of thousands and thousands of marketing pieces. Specifically, what I like about Wise Pelican is they incorporate lead capture into their postcards if you select it. What that means is it has a mechanism where on the postcard, it will generate a QR code with a lead capture form. So many agents use this platform for doing free CMA or free home equity review. Would you like a free home equity review on your property? Scan the code with your phone. The consumer scans it, and there's a little place for them to put their name, phone number, email address, and now you've captured a lead. Sometimes we have to be careful as real estate agents because if you do too many mailings and you really don't have a call to action on what to do, you don't get leads from it. I love the free CMA or free home equity review piece of the Wise Pelican mailings because it sets it all up for you. It's just like a nice, simple platform. So the lead gets emailed to you. Now you can include it in your whatever database you're using. Yellow Letters Complete. We have agents that use this product for a few things. Number one, if you're going after like distressed properties, what this company is known for is like little yellow notes on a piece of paper. So it looks like the real estate agent has stopped by the property and left a note. But it does other things as well. For example, let's just say at holiday time, Thanksgiving, for example, you want to send out 300 personalized thank you cards to everybody in your database, and you don't want to sit and write 300 personalized thank you cards. This system will do it. It has 2 different versions. One is they have like an AI system that will do a AI generated handwritten note card, but also they have an option that you can have humans write the note cards. So anytime you want to do like a mass produced mass produced note card, this is the system to use for that. And then RSP, Data Driven Marketing, another great postcard company many of our Florida agents enjoy using. So I would say what I would add to my list, my to-do list, is MLS mailings and the personal marketing company for generating business. We also have a link here for the ROAR report. Oftentimes, there's 2 different types of newsletters that agents use in their business. One is an email newsletter and one is a print newsletter. This is a print newsletter. We can talk about email newsletters in a little while, but this is a print newsletter. Our team writes a new newsletter every single month. So if you open this, you can do 8.5 by 11, which means your newsletter will have to be stapled because it's 4 pages, or we have an 11 by 17 option, which prints on bigger paper and updated every month. You'll see these big obnoxious red circles. That's because that's just reminding you of what must be changed on the newsletter to customize it. We don't want you to miss putting in your phone number, your website, your name, your photo, etc. So this is a 4-page newsletter. These are great for a couple things. Number one, some agents will have a mortgage vendor that partners with them on mailing these out once a month so that you have a once a month mailer. And then the agent will do like a little advertising space. So this is all in Canva, so you can cut out any section you want here and replace it with like an advertisement or a little article about your favorite vendor. Also, we have a lot of agents that do business spotlights using the newsletter. So they'll go out, for example, and interview the guy that just opened the new pizza shop down the street. And they'll do a little article about the pizza shop in the newsletter, and then drop off the newsletter at the pizza shop so that they leave it out for additional advertising for the agent. So that's our newsletter. There's a new one that comes out at the beginning of every month. If you need logos or images, we have tons of LAER logos and images here if you're designing your own pieces. Also, we'll talk a little bit later about our Algorwin business growth system. But part of the business growth system is getting out and meeting throughout each week, even just 5 people a week, dropping off an item of value or a pop-by. So we've created all the pop-by tags here. We have them for every single season, and they're all in Canva. So you upload your photo. We have, for example, pumpkin spice season is coming up. So we have pumpkin spice and real estate advice labels to add to, for example, some spiced tea, or if you want to give out jack-o'-lanterns, I'm always willing to carve out time for you and your referrals. So tons of different pop-by tags here for you guys to customize and make your own. Let's see, we have lots of stuff here on agent growth and development. So under the agent growth and development section, first, tons of classes. As you guys know, our classes are open to everybody. You guys are on one of our classes, but you can always come back and watch our boot camp. I always say the best way to stay on top of all the training resources we have is to go to our YouTube station. So it's youtube.com/LAER training. Literally, there's hundreds and hundreds of classes here. So if you subscribe to youtube.com/LAER training, so I'd add that to your list, by the way, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube station. If you subscribe to our youtube.com/LAER training, you'll never miss anything, because even if you might miss a class, we upload everything we do as soon as we finish the program. So you'll really never miss anything. Let's see. You can also see our upcoming training program. We'll go to laerrealty.com/training, just taking a minute to load. But that's all the upcoming training classes. If you prefer to like watch the live version of our classes, it's basically every Tuesday and Thursday, at least, there's training classes as well. I want to make sure, in case you guys have not been a part of this yet, it's a phenomenal training program that we just started offering, so you can still jump on. If you go to laerrealty.com/finish strong, this is something that we just launched. Many of you guys have heard of Michael Mayer. He wrote the best-selling book, The 7 Levels of Communication. And this is a program. We've hired Michael to coach our agents for the next 6 months. So the idea behind this is that we want to make sure our agents are ready for 2025. So much of this year has been like really focused on forms and laws and like the nuances of business. Now it's time to get back to planning how to build a successful real estate business. Finish Strong is the program. You can go to laerrealty.com/finish strong. This is open to agents of any firm, but every Monday at 10:30, we do a call at laerzoom.com. And you can go down, if you missed the first couple of classes, you can scroll down and click on them and actually watch the first couple of classes. And we spell out what the homework assignment is after each class. So you can also see the entire list of upcoming classes. So you'll see that this is happening all the way through the end of January. Because again, our goal is to get you guys ready for an amazing 2025. So laerrealty.com/finish strong is all the information, all the homework assignments. You can head over there and check out that program. And let's see, we have a couple other pieces, and then I'll introduce our Chief Sustainability Officer. Business plans and growth systems. So one of the things that we're super proud of is when we deliver content as a brokerage, we make sure it's the best of the best of the best. So for example, you just got to see that we're doing a 6-month program where you get to talk live with Michael Mayer, the author of The 7 Levels of Communication. He has run one of the largest real estate teams in the country. He's the best of the best. So we have this 6-month program going with him. By the way, the reason I love Michael Mayer is because he does not teach agents how to be salespeople. He shows you how to build a business by focusing on generosity and kindness and a systematized approach to giving back to people. So that's one program. We also have our own program that is helping agents get to their first 30 transactions a year. This is called Algorwin. And basically, if you're a LAER agent, you received the Algorwin workbook, which is like a 100-page workbook you receive when you join the brokerage. It's part of our welcome package when you join. But also, any agent can download this. So if you go to laerrealty.com/Algor, ALGOR, win, WIN. The whole premise of the Algorwin program is that there's an algorithm to success in real estate. That if you have a certain input into your business, you will get a certain output for your business. And this was designed by studying the highest performance real estate agents in our brokerage, agents doing between $10 and $90 million in business, studying their business and figuring out what is their algorithm for success, and then translating that for any agent to use. By the way, this is a checklist manifesto. So that's why agents are having such great results with the system, because it's basically comprised of 7 checklists. One checklist that's done yearly, one checklist that's done monthly, one checklist that's done weekly, and then a checklist for a new listing presentation, buyer presentation, a new listing that hits the market, and then people appreciation events. So this system is built for anybody to get to 30 transactions per year for your business. You can download it if you're not familiar with the program. If you go to laerrealty.com/Algorwin, at the very bottom, there's a form that you can fill out, and it will email you a PDF version of the workbook, so you can check that out. We also have some other business planning tools under this section. The next one is just a traditional business plan. This is traditional, like what you would see any real estate company use, like a fill in the blank, about where your production was last year, how much was listing appointments, how much was buyer appointments, where your leads are coming from. This is like a 50-ish page booklet that it's kind of cool if you have a team to get your team together for a team meeting and fill this out together, so that you can start planning for what your year ahead will look like. We have another one that's called the Simple Plan Workbook. This is one that we created where we really focus on, in order to, let's just say every year, most agents, by the way, do year over year within a 10% variance of what they did in business the prior year. So if you're a $2 million agent, probably 3 years from now, you'll still be a $2 million agent, unless you become a different person. So we show you how to become a different version of yourself by focusing on what is the result you wish to have and what does the person look like that you would have to become in order to complete that. And this is where we've seen agents have some life transformation where they go from doing $2 million a year for the last 5 years to 15 or $20 million a year, moving forward. So those are 3 different business planning tools. We also have this IPA worksheet that's called the Income Producing Activities Worksheet. And this is like when agents get stuck and they're like, all right, I don't know what to do today for my business. The IPA, Income Producing Activity Worksheet, is a nice place to start because those are things that will start to generate business for you. Let's see. We then have some additional agent toolbox items. First, we have a section with technology tools. I'll come back to that in a few minutes. We'll do a little demo of some of our favorite technology before we leave today. I'm going to have Craig, our sustainability officer, come on in about 1 minute just to go through resources for agents interested in building a sustainability niche for their business. There's also a whole section on here I want to point out only because it is Agent Safety Month with the National Association of Realtors. We have a phenomenal booklet we wrote about staying safe in real estate. So this is like maybe a 20-ish page guide that we wrote you can download. And also we put some really good resources at the bottom of this page. It's laerrealty.com/safety, but everything from like personal safety alarms to Invisaware, which is like really cool jewelry that is also an alarm, and some links to some self-defense courses, things like that, all under laerrealty.com/safety. And I think that is it for now. I'm going to now turn everything over to Craig Foley. Many of you who attend conferences with National Association of Realtors already know who Craig is. He's well known in the green space within our industry, and we're proud to also call him our Chief Sustainability Officer. So welcome, Craig.
Thanks, Stacey. You mentioned at the beginning of it how important this presentation, how important, our independent label is, thinking outside of the box. And certainly the work that I've been doing since I joined the brokerage in 2019 and working with you on is thinking outside the box in terms of this intersection of real estate and sustainability. And, even since I joined, Stacey, in January 2019, so much has happened in this space. So much awareness of things like climate risk and high performance homes. The fact that my home is heated and cooled with heat pumps now, and I've decarbonized an 1895 Victorian. We're seeing this in the real estate space all over the place. I get calls 3 times a week now, Stacey, from agents, either they're representing a buyer or they're representing a seller, and their home has solar panels on the rooftop how do I deal with that? You know, what's the appropriate valuation method? So this has really exploded, and I'm very proud to say, Stacey, that without question, we're the leading real estate brokerage in the United States of America that is looking at this topic seriously and providing resources, as you've already pointed out, for our agents to be able to thrive in this space. I'm going to just boot you for a little bit here and go to my presentation. I do want to point out a couple of things before I get there. Some of the upcoming opportunities there are, particularly from education. So I'm throwing in, I'll be teaching the green designation, and we're doing a pretty substantial rewrite of the green designation at Cape Cod and the Islands Association of Realtors. What's really exceptional about this is the pricing. $79 for Cape Cod and the Islands Association of Realtor members. So if you're on the Cape, you're a member of that association. $79 for a full 2-day training, and even the $149 for non-members of the Cape board is really incredible. Stacey, you took your green designation class maybe a year or so ago in 2023. And that was kind of a normal rate. It's close to $300. So these prices are really exceptional. Really throw them out there for you all to consider. This is October 3rd and 4th. I'll be leading the discussion. 8 continuing ed credits for Massachusetts real estate agents as well. Another upcoming opportunity is GBAR, Greater Boston Association of Realtors, has an annual sustainability symposium. This is either the 3rd and 4th one that we have done. There's a sustainability committee with Greater Boston Association of Realtors that runs this. Great. I just threw the link in, I think, to the chat. Great opportunity here to get up to date on what's going on. We're really looking at zoning, sustainable zoning. Great presentation here that heads this off with some great speakers. And I'll be teaching the Smart Growth, Smart Energy class. So that's a 2-unit continuing ed class for Massachusetts realtors as well. So just some opportunities that are out there. I'm going to now go to my slide deck, Stacey, and I'll go through this real quick. So, you know, as I said, without question, we're the leading real estate brokerage in the United States of America that's really looking at this intersection of real estate and sustainability, thinking about a sustainable future within our industry, thinking about sustainable home ownership, which equals successful home ownership. And, you know, I've had some great opportunities to be able to participate at a national level and with Fannie and Freddie on some of these issues. So people are really thinking about this, believe it. Including consumers. 74% of consumers are making purchasing decisions based on a company's environmental reputation. I think ours is second to none in the residential real estate space. The opportunity out there is incredible. This is from a publicly accessible database. It's called the Green Building Registry. And you can see in Massachusetts, this is, I'm sure we're over 193,000 homes now on it. You'll find my home in Melrose, Massachusetts, on the Green Building Registry, in which when you click on these docs and you zoom down to a specific community, it actually takes you to specific addresses of homes with significant green building improvements. And look, that's 193,000 homes in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Now, who knows if they're going to be selling today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, but there is a resource here for all of us to be able to check significant green building improvements. In New Hampshire, see about 8,000 homes, but in Florida, you know, which is surprising, right? I mean, I think a lot of people think of this green stuff, this high performance stuff as, you know, being aligned with states that are more liberal in their stance. But look, here's Florida with over 200,000 homes with significant green building improvements. This is happening all across the United States. Again, this is the Green Building Registry. If you just Google Green Building Registry, you'll be able to jump on there. take a look at your community. You know, talk about actionable items, Stacey. I mean, in Melrose, we've got 700 homes out of, you know, we've got 6,500 residential homes. So 10% of the homes here in Melrose have significant green building improvements. Well, I can go down to Melrose, click on addresses, look at the address across the street from the house that I live in, and see that there's a solar PV system on, right? So I started to talk to the woman that owns that building. She didn't know how big the system was. She had no idea of what she had actually put on her home, and until we started to talk about it. You know, so there's just ways in which we can get to know our neighborhoods better through these kinds of tools. Massachusetts State Building Code has definitely moved the ball forward. Whether you like it or you hate it, it is. So what's important for us, particularly if you're listing new construction, is to understand what these codes look like, right, and how they work. And again, you know, getting educated on this stuff through getting your green designation, we do a deep dive on all of these resources and how to make this be part of your business. In Florida, you know, I was really happy when Governor DeSantis vetoed an update to Florida's net metering bill, which would have really severely negatively impacted the solar PV industry in the state of Florida. I was so glad when he vetoed that. So part of what we try to do here is track legislation that's happening in the states and nationally that are advancing green building in the United States of America. Again, education, really, really critical here. So I hope to see you in class on the Cape on October 3rd and 4th. We have more green designated agents in this state than any other brokerage does. So please jump on board. And of course, if you're not with LAER, we still want you to be educated on all of this stuff, obviously. One of the things that we're doing is tracking our green building sales in high performance home sales in our check request form. So when you go to get paid, whether you're representing a buyer or a seller, please fill this out. If the home that you're working with your client on has any kind of green building improvements, please make sure to click the yes box, because we want to track the number of high performance homes that we're listing. The list on the left here comes from MLS Pins, some of the energy efficiency features that you'll typically find in MLS Pin listings. And the storm protection column on the right comes from Beaches MLS in Florida, because obviously homeowners are thinking a lot about improving their homes, making them more resilient to a changing climate, making them safer from extreme weather events. So those are also green building improvements that we want to record as a brokerage. There are 50 shades of green too, you know, so we may not have everything covered here, but even if there's a home that's changed the old incandescent light bulbs to the new LED light bulbs, right, that's a green building improvement. You can throw it into the column over there on the right. So there's a lot of different shades of green that are out there. We're also noticing now, who knows, Stacey, if this data is actually correct, because it comes from Zillow and we know how incorrect their data is, but they did do a study that they published at the end of last year, and they've noticed that home buyers are considering climate risk. 80% of home buyers is what the Zillow data said, right? So look, people are thinking about this. Home buyers are thinking about this. And in the presentations that Stacey was talking about for high performance listing and buyers agents, we're really trying to think forward about this stuff. When so many real estate agents want to stick their head in the sand about, you know, potential climate risk, we want to really embrace that. And I think that's a really important perspective to share with new home buyers in a home buyer seminar, for instance, right? That we're actually thinking forward about climate risk, and we want to make sure buyers have the resources that are available so that they can do their own due diligence about climate risk going forward. Because look, people are thinking about this stuff, right? I mean, rather than sticking our head in the sand about this stuff, how about we embrace it and look forward in terms of resources that are available to help home buyers make responsible decisions, as it comes particularly to the climate risk element of this. We're tracking homes all over the place. This is actually my home. Has a HERS score of 59, pretty good for a 1895 Victorian. What's important here, though, is in the HERS score, you can see that the independent third-party HERS rater said that our annual savings, my wife and I annual savings, are $3,700 because of the green building improvements that we've made. I hear all the time, Stacey, from real estate agents, all of this green stuff is great, but appraisers don't recognize this stuff. And that is absolutely wrong. In fact, there's a whole list of appraisers that have gone through the valuation of sustainable buildings courses that the Appraisal Institute offers. And if I demanded a qualified appraiser, we all know we can't pick a specific appraiser, but as a listing agent, I can demand a qualified appraiser for a home with significant high performance improvements on it, like mine. And the qualified appraiser, the appraiser that's gone through the valuation of sustainable buildings program, would be able to use that $3,700 number of annual savings and do a net present value calculation to add contributory value on top of the comps from my home. So this is recognized in the appraisal industry, and great appraisers are making cases to bank underwriters about additional contributory value for these homes with significant high performance features. One of our great partnerships is with Pearl Certification, great green building certification that's very reasonable. This isn't like, spending $10,000 to get your home LEED certified. This is a very reasonable green certification, formal certification for homes all over the United States. And we are finding, and in fact, Pearl, after we sold about 100 of these homes, did an appraisal study in Massachusetts of the homes that LAER sold that were Pearl certified, and we found that they had about a 4.5% increase of value. And again, this was an appraisal study that was done, formal appraisal study that was done for these homes that had this green certification. We're making a difference, Stacey. I mean, people are paying attention. Certainly, NAR is on the work that we've been doing since we started working together on this. People are getting it. There's a real value here for our brokerage and for the industry as a whole. Also, our code of ethics does require competence under Article 11 for agents listing homes with high performance features. And in fact, the Pro Standards Committee of National Association of Realtors is looking at a couple case interpretations of listing agents not being competent, making errors, particularly in terms of valuation, and leaving money on the table, Stacey, for their seller because they weren't competent in this space. So this is rapidly emerging right now across the industry. And you can see that in the Code of Ethics, the first two items underneath Article 11 is being knowledgeable about the type of property being valued and have access to information and resources necessary to formulate an accurate opinion. This is all stuff that we cover in the NAR Green Designation training. Very committed to all of this work. GREB's website says the same thing. Competence in terms of fiduciary responsibility is really critical. There's also legislation that was passed by the Biden administration in August 2022 called the Inflation Reduction Act. There are significant tax incentives available for homeowners greening up the property, making their property more resilient to extreme weather events, to changing to new technologies like heat pumps, like better insulation, better building envelopes, solar PV, significant tax incentives that are out there. As independent contractors, Stacey, I can honestly say these tax incentives have saved my wife and I significant money over the last couple of years because the improvements that we've made in our home and making sure our accountant is aware of those improvements so that we can get the tax incentives that are available that are out there. So great resources out there. The market is changing. This is a really important part of this evolving marketplace that we're in. I think there's a real value add that we can make, particularly in those buyer agency decks. You know, Stacey, you're right. I never had a buyer agency deck in 25 years of doing real estate until you came up with the idea to create these green decks, right? They're great decks. Now, you don't have to use all of the decks, as Stacey already pointed out. Maybe you're adding one or two pieces from that buyer agency deck to your buyer agency presentation. But we've got an entire deck here devoted to this, and I think they're really exceptional. So, Stacey, that's what's going on in my world right now.
All right, awesome stuff. And I like to reiterate that I always say, like, building a niche of sustainability is always a wonderful thing, but the way the world is moving, sustainability is no longer like a niche for your business. It's almost like a requirement that you dig in and learn and understand it. Otherwise, you become a liability to your business and to your clients. So I highly recommend the green designation course, just so that you at least have a basic understanding of where the potential pitfalls are. I think if you take the green designation course, that at the end of that, you walk away and you say, okay, I either have to engage, I have to learn more and dig in so that I can help clients, or I have to refer my business out. When it comes to sustainability, refer it to somebody who understands it, because there is a lot of potential liability for you and your brokerage if you're not digging in and understanding the nuances. So,
and one of the things, Stacey, I'll just throw this out too, because it ties into what you said, and the impact you've made on me personally, right? And in terms of thinking about how to make this really work. So I'm in the midst with a couple other people from across the United States of rewriting the green designation right now. I'm hoping the new version will be available October 3rd and 4th, and I can teach the new version of the green designation, because there's some pretty significant improvements, including one thing that's come directly from you, Stacey, which is knowledge is not power, execution is power, right? We're actually talking about that in this new version of the green designation. So I've ripped you off completely on that. But we've also added an accountability checklist. So as you take the 2 days of training, adding pieces that you can do on a one-time basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, to get to the point where you're listing 2, 3, 5 high-performance homes a quarter. Right? Whatever it is that your goals are, we can create a checklist for that. And that's directly attributed to you, Stacey, I have to say.
awesome stuff. Thank you, as always, Craig, for enlightening us. And I hope that you've inspired some people to get out and take the green designation and execute. That should be one of your top 10 things that you're going to go execute on if you're not already a green designated agent. All right, we are back. So we just kind of finished everything at laeragentservices.com. You definitely want to bookmark it, because there's just so much stuff here. I could go on for another hour with just the resources that are built out here, but we don't have time because we still have so much stuff that we want to cover. So I'm heading back over to the LAER Program and Services Guide. Again, you can download this at LAER Realty, LAER Realty.com/success tools. If you go to that page, you'll see our program guide. If you scroll to the very bottom, there's a link where you can download a PDF version of this. Next up, I just want to cover really briefly some of this will be like 5 minutes, not even, where we just share with you some of the other tools available for LAER agents. Specifically, want to make sure that you guys are getting our automated listings and that you guys are utilizing our social media assistant to spread your brand. Remember, you are the brand in real estate. So with that, I want to invite Sergio from our marketing team to come on and just share with you a quick overview of the automated resources that our marketing team does for agents each month. So with that, I'll hand it over to Sergio.
All right, thanks, Stacey. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly go over a couple of the programs that we have for our LAER agents. You do need to be a LAER agent to be part of these programs. The first one is our marketing bundle. So when your home goes live on the MLS as a LAER agent, within 24 hours, our team gets to work. We create a marketing bundle, which is a whole marketing package for your listing. It includes a brochure as well as social media pieces that cover the whole transaction, all the way from new listing for sale all the way to sold. This is delivered to you via email within 24 hours of your listing going live on the MLS. So let's give a live demo of that. So the email looks just like this. It'll be the listing address and then your concierge marketing package. If you're looking for this in your email, and I know everyone gets tons of emails every day, one thing that I do is just search for the word concierge, just because it's a very unique word, and then everything will pop up. You can also search for the address. Now in that email, you will see 3 links. If you just want to use your bundle as is, you can click on this download bundle button. This brings you to Google Drive. You don't have to sign up for Google Drive to use it. You can just use it as is, but it does help to have a Google Drive account, because then you can have access to that folder, that shared folder. Now in here we have your listing brochure, which you can just very easily download from here as a PDF if you want to send it out via email, or you can just print it by hitting this print button. Like I mentioned before, we have these social media pieces. So we have this new listing social media piece, and it's very easy to use. Just click on the 3 buttons and click on download. You can open this same link on your phone and download the image to your phone and then post on social media that way as well. We include a general LAER brochure that you can print out if you have an open house coming up. We also include a simple open house sign-in sheet. We do have other open house resources on LAER Agent Services, but this is just a simple sign-in sheet that you can print out quickly. And then we have a flyer for our preferred closing partners, both for New England and Florida. So this bundle is ready to use. We run your description through Grammarly to make sure there's no spelling mistakes, any grammar issues. And then we also do our best to select the best photos for your listing. Now, like Stacey said, we do everything here in Canva. So you also get Canva links for your brochure and your social media pieces. So I'm going to click on the brochure. And as long as you're signed into Canva, it will open up right in your account. And I'm going to make a copy of this just because I want to show you how easy it is to edit your bundle within Canva. So I'm here in Canva. I opened this up in my account as a design. Once you open up this design on your account, it will always be there. You can do a quick search for the address. If you misplace it, you can just do a search, or you can always go back to this email and click on that link. Now, if I want to make any changes to this, I can just select the object. For example, if we have a price change down the line, I can very quickly just change the price, click on share, and then download this as a PDF print if I want to print this out, or a PDF standard if I want to send it out via email. If you want to switch around the photos, you can click on uploads, upload files, I have some images of this listing here. Let's say you want a different photo for the primary photo here. You can just quickly drag and drop. All of these frames here are drag and drop. So if I want to drag and drop to this section here, I can quickly add this picture now. When you drag and drop an image, let me zoom in. When you drag and drop an image, you want to hold the mouse button down until it's over the section that you want it to be in. So for example, if it's over here and if I accidentally let go of the mouse button, there's an undo button. But as long as I don't let go of the mouse button, you can go to the frame that you want, release it, and now you have your photo where you want it to be. You can change any of this. You know, if you have a team logo, you can add on there. If you want to change around your picture, anything like that, you're able to do so with the Canva document here. Now, we also include Canva templates for your social media pieces. Now, there's 2 social media pieces at the end, which we don't include in your Google Drive, just because we don't have the necessary information. We have an open house with a date and time, right? So if you have an upcoming open house, you can just put in the date and time here by clicking in here. And then we have a new price marketing piece here. So if you do have a new price down the line, you can quickly just edit it, click on share, download, and then you select the page that you want. So I will first unselect all pages by clicking on all pages, and then scroll down to my new price piece, click on done, and then download the PNG. I highly recommend getting the mobile version, the phone app of Canva, because you're able to access all of these designs and then download these images to your phone and then post. We have a few other helpful resources down here. Now you can print any of these out at our offices. We have some great copy machines. But if you're not near one of our offices, you can do this FedEx 2-day delivery package. This package includes some printed out listing sheets, some LAER brochures, some closing company brochures, as well as open house sign-in sheets. There is a cost to this that mainly just covers the cost of sending it via FedEx 2-day delivery. So that's that link here. Now we have another option for if you have a listing that is more of a luxury listing, you went out and got nice drone photos, and that is the 4-page brochure. The 4-page brochure looks just like this. It's a great way to feature a property or a listing that is a luxury listing. You went out and got some really high quality images. To order that in this email, you can click on this link. Just click here, link. You select the post type as 4-page brochure. You fill this out as best you can, but more importantly is that we have enough photos to create your 4-page brochure. So we do require at least 16 photos. You can upload them directly. Or if you got a link from your photographer, you can just copy and paste in that link under this notes field, and then we can grab them from the photographer's site or link. So that is the marketing, listing bundle. If you don't see this in your email box within 24 hours, let us know and we can make sure that everything is working, that you're on the correct lists. So the next thing I'm going to cover is the LAER Social Media Assistant. Now, Stacey already mentioned this. This program is a social media assistant that sends you every Monday morning, we send out via text and email 7 to 10 social media posts for the whole week. These are ready to use images that you can use in social media. We also include Canva templates. And then we also include suggested captions and hashtags. So you have everything you need at the start of the week to schedule out your whole social media for the week. So this is what the email will look like. Now I mentioned that you do get a text message and an email. If you don't want to keep getting the text message, you can reply stop to the text message. but you will always receive this email. Now, this email goes out Monday mornings. This is the start of the month, so the first thing that we include at the beginning of every month is some Facebook covers for the month. And then we have social media posts. Now, we just had this Labor Day holiday, so we included that, but we also include lots of posts that are real estate related. You'll find the suggested caption, which on the email version, you can just highlight, copy, and paste. And then for the image, there is a download button you can press, which will download your image. There is an edit in Canva button, which then you can use this Canva template and edit it in Canva. You can change around any of the images, any of the photos. So with Canva, you have access, especially if you have Canva Pro, you have access to tons of stock images and even video, which you can then replace. You can replace your logo, the colors, etc. You can do anything you want with it. Now, you can then download this and use it with any of your content schedulers, but Canva also has options for posting to the web or to social media. When I click on share, there's a share on social option that I can click. Now, you do need to connect these channels. I believe I have my Facebook page here connected. In this write something section, that's where you would copy and paste in your suggested caption. And now the suggested caption, you can then edit. We have a section here where you can add in your information. You can add or remove this section here to fit your local market. And then when I'm ready to publish, I can click on Publish Now. Or if you have Canva Pro, I can click on this Schedule to Publish Later button, where I can choose a date on a calendar. Let's say I want this to go out on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Click on Done. Click on Schedule. And then this will then prepare my design. It'll make a copy of my design and then schedule it out on my content planner. If I click on Content Planner, I can see my post here, what it'll look like. If I have any changes, I can save it as a draft. And then if I close out of this, you'll see the full content planner, the whole calendar with the weeks. Now I can add new posts by clicking on the plus. And yeah, so this is all ready to use. Let us know if you don't see this. We can make sure that you're on all of our lists. You can just email happyagent@laerrealty.com. And that's it.
All right. Awesome stuff. Thank you, Sergio. Okay. I am going back to the LAER Program and Services Guide. Let me just reshare because we still have lots of stuff that we need to cover, although we're almost done with the marketing and branding stuff, but there's still so much more that we want to make sure to share with you. Okay, so I'm back at the LAER Program and Services Guide. You can download this at laerrealty.com/success tools. Let me. Okay, a couple other things just for LAER agents. We do have a couple of magazines that we are actually getting our fall versions out to all the offices in the next 30 days. Both our LAER Luxury Selling Guide and At Home Magazine. These are professionally printed magazines. They're for you to include in your listing and buyer presentations. Okay, so that was the end. I mentioned at the beginning of the program, which was a very long time ago, 2 hours ago, that the booklet, this program guide, is divided into 4 sections. The first section is marketing and branding, and that is what we just completed. The second section is technology. The third section is coaching and training, and the fourth section is administrative support. So I want to spend just a few minutes going through some really cool technology platforms. First of all, if you join LAER, there's a lot of free technology that you get just being part of our company. We have premium.loop as well. Our Florida agents prefer app files, showing time. We also give our agents a full G Suite Now, one of the things agents often ask when they are considering brokerages is, are there any monthly tech fees at your company? And at LAER, the answer is maybe. We have an optional $39 per month tech bundle. And the tech bundle includes 3 products: Isaac, Boston Logic, which is an agent website, and Real Scout. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on all of them, but I will tell you that the 2 that I think you have to have are definitely, you need to have a CRM for your business. So that needs to be on your top 10 list of things to do if you do not have a CRM, because it's the only way to stay in touch with all of the people in your sphere of influence. We love Isaac only because it's super easy to use. It does not have a ton of bells and whistles. So if you like lots of bells and whistles and you're really, really good at technology, there's probably better platforms out there. But if you're not great at technology and you want something simple that's going to stay in touch with your people on a monthly basis, Isaac is where it's at. It's got a nice email newsletter that it generates for you once a month. You don't have to do anything. It does all of the work for you. If we have time, which we're already running out of time, so I will come back to this if we have a little bit of time later. The second part of the $39 a month tech bundle is an agent website. The Boston Logic agent website is a beautiful templated type of website. However, what I tell agents right now is that what is more important than a website is a Google business page. Your website's not going to come to the top of any search unless you live in a very, very small town. What will come to the top of a search is a Google business page. By the way, we have a phenomenal class on Google business pages. You can find at youtube.com/LAER training. So our $39 a month bundle does include the Boston Logic website. It's beautiful. We do all the work for you. You can go in and change the templates on it. But at the end of the day, it's not that important to have a website. A website's kind of like a business card. I think it's good to have one, but is it going to be a business generator? For most of you, no. The final part of our $39 a month bundle is Real Scout. This is a game changer. So even if you're not a LAER agent, this is a product I highly recommend for any real estate agent. By the way, any of these products you can buy for $39 a month each. We just have a bundled discount because we have a lot of real estate agents, but highly recommend Real Scout because it's how you can counter Zillow. I mentioned this earlier. If you're not talking about Zillow in your buyer and listing presentations, I guarantee you're losing business to Zillow. So not only do you need to talk about Zillow within your presentations, you have to have a better alternative for the client to go to. You can't just tell people, hey, Zillow does not work. Zillow does not have a great search platform. Zillow does not let you narrow your searches other than within $50,000 increments. You have to then back that up with a product that is better than what their alternative is, Zillow. Real Scout is the better alternative. So with that, I want to introduce Ashley from our agent services team, just to give you guys a really quick overview of how Real Scout can change your business. So with that, I'll hand this over to Ashley.
Thank you, Stacey. I'm just going to put a quick link in the chat quickly for any LAER agents that do have the tech bundle that, you know, want to review something or aren't sure how to do something, whether it be on Boston Logic, on Isaac, or Real Scout, or how to set up any of them, because maybe you've had the tech bundle, but you don't know how to start setting them up, or you don't know where to go to start. So I just put in a link for a brief in session. These are 30-minute one-on-one calls. So if you are a LAER agent and you have questions on any parts of the tech bundle, just fill out that form. It goes to Happy Agent, and then we can schedule that 30-minute call. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take over Sharon, and I'm going to share my screen with my little quick tips that I've done. So I've built out a quick step guide for Real Scout and how to get started with Real Scout. Sorry, the internet's a little slow today. All right, so the first thing I like to do is within Real Scout, just like any other platform, there is a mobile app. So depending upon your iOS or Android, your logo might look a little different on the agent version. So the agent version will have this black background with a white house, and it'll also say Pro across the top. Again, iOS and Android, the app icons can vary a little bit. If you see the white background with a black house and it says Real Scout Home Search, that is the client or consumer version of the app. So if you're an agent, you want to make sure you download the Real Scout agent dashboard. So that's how you can differentiate between the two versions of the app. The next thing is that each agent does have their own unique sign up link or own unique link that they can use to market their Real Scout platform, whether it be on a Facebook post, an Instagram post, or if it's just listed social media post that they're posting, they can go into Real Scout, they can claim their listing. They can also market their Real Scout platform by clicking on Market My Real Scout platform, and then a couple of links will generate. And what you do is you just simply copy those links and insert them into whatever post you're making or email you're sending out. You can even include this in your email signature as well, and people can click on it and get a CMA, or they can set up their own search. And this link is associated with that specific agent's profile. The next one is how to verify your MLS. So for myself, I have my Real Scout account linked to more than one MLS because I have 3 licenses. So if you have more than one license linked to your Real Scout account, you're going to see this cross MLS search. If you only have one real estate license, so if you're only licensed in Mass or New Hampshire or Connecticut, Rhode Island, I know we're working on Maine or Florida, it's only going to give you your primary MLS system. However, if you're like me and you have more than one license linked, it's going to say cross MLS. And the way that you can change it is you would click on the drop-down menu, and if you want to set up a search for New Hampshire, you can, but if you have a client who's looking in both New Hampshire and Mass, then you would just need to set up 2 searches for that client, one for Mass, one for New Hampshire. I haven't figured out, or actually I shouldn't say you have to set up the 2 searches. You could do a cross MLS, but it's not as specific as if you just did one MLS. And what I mean by that is, which I will get to in a little bit, is that if you do the cross MLS, you don't have all of the unique search features, such as searching by a specific school district or a specific school in a specific school district. It's more of your basic MLS search on the cross MLS. So to add a client, it's fairly simple. There's a button that says add a client. So you click on that, create a new client, you enter their email, their first name, their last name. Their phone number is optional. The source of the client is optional. So if it's a SOI or if it's OpCity or another lead platform, you could always put that in there. And then it also allows you to tag if they're a buyer and seller, or a buyer or a seller or investor. So you can do that. And then you would click on create client. It'll bring up the search field. So just like MLS, you can go down enter a minimum price, the maximum price, number of beds, number of bathrooms. So once you go through all of the search criteria, you would click Save to Client in the upper right corner. And then once you click Save, it's going to ask you to select a client. So you would just go through Select the Client. The search name, you can update the search to Ashley's Home Search or New Mass Home Search or Littleton Home Search. You could name it anything you wanted. And then there is an alert schedule. So daily, ASAP, handpicked. So I always do this as ASAP because anytime a listing comes on, an email will be sent to your client. And then there is a way, if you check off this box right here, send copy to myself, you will get that same email that your clients get of that listing. So if you're on the road and you don't have access to MLS, you can see the photos, you can see all of the information on that property. There are different unique ways that you can search. So if you have somebody, let's say, who works in a medical field, it needs to be a specific distance from the hospital because they do on-call shifts, right? So you could draw your own outline. You could draw a polygon. You could draw a rectangle, or you could do a radius of a specific area. So there's different ways that you can search just besides a county, a town, and a zip code. Again, a unique search is that you can search by school, district, or certain schools in districts. And then you can also search by a condo association name or development or subdivision if you have somebody who's looking to be in a particular association or subdivision or development. So you can search that way as well in Real Scout, as long as you are not in the cross basic MLS criteria search. The next one is how to update a client search. So over on the left, when you are in your Real Scout platform, on the left, there's a navigational menu. So you would just click on the contact tab, and then you would select the contact that you wanted to edit. And then you would click the edit button. So depending upon if it was a market activity alert or a listing alert, you would just click on view/edit or edit. And then anytime you want to make edits, you would just click on the edit filter button, and then it'll bring you back to the criteria pages. You can change whatever you need to change, and then it'll ask you if you want to send any new listings to that client now or do not send. So you have that option to send. The next one is an auto nurture feature, which Real Scout rolled out last year. And what this is it's a drip campaign that Real Scout automatically does as long as you have it enabled for all of your clients. I have it enabled for all of my clients, so anyone that I add is automatically put into this. So it's a great way to keep in touch with your clients. It's, kind of a set it and forget it system to stay top of mind. And if there's not enough data, auto nurture feature will create email campaigns with relevant real estate information, relevant listings. And if your clients have a search set up and they start looking at other houses that don't necessarily meet their criteria that is already established in the system, this auto nurture drip campaign will start sending them listings that are more geared to what they've been looking for, not necessarily just the search criteria. The next one, I like to call this what you can do for buyers, you can use for sellers. So this one is a monthly market activity report, and you can go in and you can set it up. So you have a minimum price and a maximum price, and this will show you the number of buyers in a specific area in a specific time frame. And it also shows you where the relatively populated areas are, or the relatively hot listings are, or top viewed listings. So on this heat index map, it shows you where they are. And also in this report, it breaks it down week by week. So if you wanted to go to a specific week or a specific day, you could see how many buyers were in that area on that day or that week. It also gives a monthly breakdown of the number of active buyers and the number of buyer interactions. when I did this, it was for the past 90 days. You can do 90, 60, 30, 180 and 365. So you can get a lot of data with this. Again, it'll show you the top viewed listings, anything that was recently listed or changed or sold. It gives you all of that information. So the way I like to use this is I use this as a strategy when writing an offer. So if I see a house that my clients are interested in writing an offer as a top viewed property, we might structure our offer a little differently. We might write that there's a home inspection cap for anything over $5,000, right? So we're not going to go back to them for a $20 light bulb repair. We can do that once we close on the house. So stuff like that. And then on the flip side, you can use it for sellers to properly price a listing, right? So if you have sellers, when you go to list an appointment, who are kind of up here on price, but the market data is saying they should be down here, including the CMA, I use this report and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what's going on in your neighborhood over the past 30 days. This is the number of active buyers. This is the number of buyer interactions. So you can show them concrete evidence, factual data, not only just the CMA, but they can also see something that's going on within their community in real time. Because you could have done the CMA 3 days before you go to the listing appointment, but with this, you can run this at any time. And then the last thing is, which Stacey touched on a little bit earlier before I came on, why is Real Scout better? It's above average search experience, new property alerts daily. It's very up to date, more so up to date than Zillow, because like Stacey said, they're not up to date. You can't do search features like you want. You can only do $50,000 increments for the searches. There's a mobile app, and it also integrates with the major real estate lead platforms. So if you have like realtor.com, there's a way you can link that. There's a way you can link different platforms to Real Scout. And then again, the auto nurture feature, which I love and is great. And then the last part of this is Zillow. And if you're not talking about Zillow, why you should be talking about Zillow, I always talk about it to my clients. So again, you can't narrow their search on Zillow. They think they're contacting an agent and they're not. And then they'll just get call after call from lenders or different agents. So I just threw this little thing in here about Zillow and why Real Scout is better than Zillow. That's all I have for the quick tips on Zillow. So with that, Stacey, I am going to stop sharing my screen and send it back over to you.
All right. Awesome stuff. Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. We have roughly a little over 30 minutes, and we have lots of stuff that we still haven't gotten to. So that concludes the technology platforms. I wouldn't mind spending a little more time on the CRM system, but we have so much other stuff. I think I'm going to skip that for now. And then if we do have time at the end, I can come back to the CRMs. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the LAER Program and Services Guide. We're moving on to section 3 of the guide, and that is the career development section. We've already touched upon a lot of this stuff. I mentioned earlier that we've developed our own business growth system called Algorwin. And basically all that means is that there is an algorithm to success in real estate. We believe we can get any agent to 30 transactions a year, which is a pretty nice living to be at. And the way we do this is through our Algorwin growth system. This is a workbook. And one of the challenges for real estate agents is that what do you do when you get to work every day? Maybe you're newer in the business. Or maybe you have no transactions right now. What do you do each day? And with that, we built Algorwin, so it gives you direction every day. As I mentioned, it's a series of 7 checklists. It is a checklist manifesto that if you work off of these checklists and track your results, you will get to 30 transactions per year. There's tons of training resources available at LAER. As I mentioned, the best place to watch our training classes is youtube.com/LAER training. But I do want to point out under this link, which is the LAERrealty.com/transaction blueprint, we've been building out help guides for everything. These are wonderful for newer agents. So for example, if you've only been in the business for a year or so, for example, we built out a real estate agent's guide to home inspections. And this is a 51-page guide of everything that home inspectors look for, so that as you're building your business, you can take this along as a tool and understand like what the different types of houses are, and exterior versus interior, and understanding mechanical systems and roofs and basements and foundations. So tons of information. It's our own little booklet that we use for training. We've also been building out little guides like Maine law best practices, Connecticut law best practices, a guide to procure and cause best practices. You've already seen our guide to real estate agent safety. We've been building out these little helpful tutorial videos, which are basically 10 to 12-minute videos on how to fill out forms for each of the states that we do business in. So this LAERrealty.com/transaction blueprint section is great for newer agents, just to give you some helpful resources to guide you along the way. In addition to all the training programs we do, throughout every year, we bring in speakers and trainers, because you never know who is going to resonate with a particular agent. So there's tons of different coaches and trainers out there. So not only do we have our own people on staff, our own coaches, our own trainers, but we also bring in great coaches and trainers throughout the year. Last year, we brought Tom Ferry in, both to New England and Florida for training. As I mentioned a little while ago, we now have world-renowned real estate coach and trainer Michael Mayer, who's doing a 6-month program with our agents. And by the way, that's open to everyone. So if you're interested in participating in our Finish Strong program, you can go to LAERrealty.com/Finish Strong and sign up to the program. It's basically every Monday at 10:30, and it's Michael Mayer teaching it himself. So he's the coach of the program. He is in touch, answers questions. He's been texting back and forth with many of our agents, but it's our way of getting you guys ready for a phenomenal 2025. As well, I encourage agents always to participate. We do lots of live training programs and lunches. Anybody is welcome to attend any of the stuff we do, but the reason it's so important is the more you're around other real estate agents, the more business you will do. I also want to give a plug to our coaching program. So the workbook, the Alcorn workbook that I spoke of, that workbook offers everything you need. It's a phenomenal, like, fill in the blank workbook. You can download it at LAERrealty.com/Alcorn. It gives you everything you need to work on in your business on a yearly, monthly, weekly basis. So does every agent that goes through the Alcorn program close 30 transactions a year? The answer is no. Not because the program doesn't work. The program works, but humans have all kinds of reasons why they don't complete things within a program. It's many humans have limiting beliefs about what is possible. Many humans don't realize how much energy, their personal energy, and when I say energy, We are all energy, from our emotions to our thoughts to the words we use. We project energy all day long. And so sometimes you might be doing all the actions of the system, but your energy is not aligned with the action. So you're not going to get the results. So that's why we also have implemented a coaching program for agents that want to complete the Algorwin program, but need some extra level of accountability. And they need an outsider to look in and say, hey, you've got some limiting beliefs there, or hey, here's some exercises to work on your personal energy. So it's a group coaching program. You can learn more at laerrealty.com/layer coaching. And it's free. We don't charge for our coaching and training. We do it because we know that you have results from it. Okay. The final section of this program guide is our LAER agent support services. And just quickly, one of the challenges that I see in real estate is, first of all, the success rate of real estate agents is super low. So some of you guys may not realize this, but 87% of people who get a real estate license have already exited the business 3 years after they got their license. That's 87% of people who get a real estate license have already exited the business 3 years later. And I get it's a hard business. It's definitely not easy. It takes focus and takes absolute commitment. It takes really good energy. It takes really good thoughts in your own head about your ability. It takes confidence. It's a hard job. But that being said, I also believe that sometimes agents don't make it because they simply don't end up at the right place for their business. There are millions of brokerages to choose from. And I think for the most part, most brokerages are very good, but some aren't. And so in order to be successful in real estate, you have to be able to go out and try new things, get outside your comfort zone, but also you need to have a support system in place that when you need help, somebody's there to help you. And so with that, we built out our Happy Agent customer support portal. And that is where our agents email happyagent@laerrealty.com. It's open 7 days a week. When a request comes in, it gets assigned to the staff member who is best suited to answer the agent quickly and knowledgeably. So if on a Saturday, the agent has a question about a transaction, or a Friday night needs some help on a marketing piece, they email into Happy Agent, they're going to get a response back from one of our team members to help them. And that is because I believe there are some real estate agents who get out of the business prematurely. They just didn't have the right support system behind them when they joined the brokerage. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on Earnest and Deposit Link. These are just great technologies to make your life easier for like collecting escrow deposits. We shouldn't be having consumers drive around, dropping off checks, stuff like that. These are like really cool, easy to use links that you can send out, and the consumer can just ACH transfer their escrow, or this also works broker to broker. So commissions can get paid out through Deposit Link as well. And then if you're a LAER agent, you probably know we love eCheck. So in the old days, like 7 years ago, we used to like FedEx checks out to people's houses and stuff like that. We haven't used real hard check in probably 5 years. When we send a check out to an agent, so for example, if you need to bring checks to a closing, for example, we just send you an e-check so that you can print it and bring it to the closing, or forward it right to a title company or attorney. All right, this part is important for everybody watching today. This is how you can generate leads for your business. Now, there are two types of lead programs out there for real estate agents. There are subscription-based leads and there are referral fee-based lead platforms. Subscription-based lead platforms are platforms like Zillow. And that is where an agent is paying monthly. And for that payment, the company reserves certain towns or certain zip codes that agent will get leads from. That's one type of subscription-based lead platform. There's also companies out there like Sync, KV Core, Market Leader. These are companies that build you SEO optimized websites for your business so that you're kind of like your own Zillow. They generate the leads for you when they go to you. Anyways, regardless of which type you do, one type of way to get leads is to pay monthly for a subscription. That's what we have here listed on the right side. On the left side, we have subscription-based lead platforms. Subscription-based lead platforms are companies that generate leads and they say, hey, we'll generate the lead and give it to you, but you agree to pay us a certain percentage of the amount you collect if you close on the transaction. Now, I will absolutely admit that the referral fee-based lead platforms are expensive. Typically, they collect 35 to 40% of the lead generated. So if you make a $10,000 commission, 3,500 to 4,000 of it is going directly to the lead provider. However, if I had to choose between the two different types of lead platforms, I kind of prefer the referral fee-based lead platforms because while subscription fees seems lower, like instead of 35%, maybe you're paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month, you could go several months without collecting a commission. So there's no risk in the referral fee based. I won't say no risk. I'll say little risk with the referral fee based lead platform. And that is because you're only paying if you actually close on the transaction. So I encourage every agent to sign up for the referral fee-based lead platforms. They are listed on the left side of this page, 33. These are live links, so you can click on each one and it takes you to the page where you sign up for the referral fee-based system. Some of these are going to have roadblocks built in. That means when you go to sign up, it's gonna say, we'll take your name and phone number, but there's a waiting list. Some of those roadblocks are put in there on purpose because they want to see if you're going to keep pushing to get through. Why do they do that? Because the agents that are most successful at converting leads are the ones that don't stop at the stop sign. They keep going. So they, even though it says there's a waiting list, you want to keep going, keep filling out the information, keep providing it. One of our biggest referral partners at LAER is Veterans United. Veterans United is a massive veterans only mortgage company. And they refer a ton of leads. You'll see it on the list here. So first of all, they have a very rigid selection process. And so I tell agents, go sign up at Veterans United. They're going to tell you there's a waiting list. Go through the waiting list. If you get selected, they still have a continuation of a process that you have to go through. But the agents that get onto the Veterans United list typically close 5 to 10 transactions a year just from Veterans United. Are they super easy deals? Absolutely not. They are they're veteran, no money down transactions typically. So it takes a great deal of patience and education to work with the veteran buyers, but it's worth it. Anyways, I say to sign up for all of these different platforms. I would add this to the list of things to do, your top 10 things to do to work on in your business, because if you sign up for every single one, I guarantee you'll probably close at least one transaction next year from having spent 1 hour signing up for all the lead platforms. So it's nice having these additional pillars of referrals that come in occasionally. Of course, for every real estate agent out there, the only way to make a real living, a sustainable living, is to build a business that is based on your own sphere of influence. But that being said, these are a nice resource to have business trickling in throughout the year from other resources. And you'll definitely get a lot of leads. Doesn't mean they'll all close. Some of them are that you'll get a lot of cold leads as well. But put every single one into your database, market to them, because your job as a real estate agent, when it comes to collecting leads, is not solely to sell that person a house. The second piece to each lead that you get is to turn that person into an unpaid sales force. So blow away each person that comes into you, even if it's a cold lead, with providing a great deal of value, especially with some of the stuff we spoke of today. Provide value, provide value, provide value. And even if they don't buy or sell a house through you, you have remained top of mind so that potentially you can get referrals from them. So that is all on generating leads. We also have at LAER some wonderful in-house transaction coordinating services, of course, optional. But that's really for agents that don't like paperwork and would like to have like an assistant that is introduced into the transaction to take over all the mundane paperwork that is part of running a real estate business. If you're a LAER agent, we would love to have you on one of our committees. I always say that what makes our company super special is that it's built from real estate agents. So our committees are our way of making sure that you are heard. So this is why our company is always evolving, trying out new products, trying different vendors, really listening to what our agents need and providing it. Well, all of that starts through our committees at LAER. Our committees typically meet once a month. Usually they're by Zoom, so that it's the agents reporting to us what they need to run a successful real estate business. You got to hear today from Craig Foley, our Chief Sustainability Officer. Don't forget at laeragentservices.com, if sustainability is something that you're interested in, at the very bottom, you'll find a section just on sustainability tools. We have all kinds of amazing resources, from listing presentations to buyer presentations to like green appraisal addendums to scripts for talking with potential sellers who have solar panels. And we keep adding to that every single month at laeragentservices.com. I always like to put a plug in for the National Association of Realtors as well. We are a realtor organization. And I know that the National Association has come under fire over the last year. We had lots of changes at the executive level of National Association of Realtors. That, coupled with the lawsuit issue, many agents are like, oh, I don't want to be a realtor. I think the realtor organization stinks. I disagree. I look at it that National Association of Realtors is one of the biggest trade organizations in the country, in the world. and which, by the way, is what makes them a target. But it's one of the reasons why, because we have such a big lobbying arm. In other words, the National Association of Realtors does a great deal to protect homeowners and to protect our industry. Case in point, some of the things, initiatives that they've worked on is, for example, multiple times the government has tried to, or there have been bills that have almost passed getting rid of, for example, the capital gains protections for selling owner-occupied real estate. It's the National Association of Realtors that has lobbying arms that protect that. As well, if you guys did business during the economic recession, when we had tons of short sales, it was the National Association of Realtors that pushed for legislation that would protect the homeowner who was foreclosed on from having to pay capital gains on the deficiency created by the foreclosure. So that's a big piece of it. They do a lot to advocate not only for real estate agents, but also for consumers. And I truly believe that the reason that we still have an industry as real estate professionals is because of the National Association of Realtors, especially when you look at the lack of yellow taxis anymore. When you go to places like New York City, have been replaced in a great part by Uber, or the industry of travel agency. You don't see travel agents anymore, but they didn't have a lobbying arm. They didn't have this association that was like the National Association of Realtors. I think it's super interesting. I think the hotel industry is forever changed by Airbnb industry. And again, the hotel industry didn't have this national association that could best protect the interest of hotel owners. So that's my thoughts on the National Association of Realtors. I do think it's important to support and be part of the organization. So agents sometimes say, well, it's $600 a year. It's your job to go extract $600 in value from the National Association of Realtors. By the way, I think there's a million ways to do that, through getting involved with free training and coaching through the boards as well. I'm a big fan of Realtor Property Resource, RPR. That's just a phenomenal technology tool that's only available for realtors. And that technology alone is worth $600 a year. So yes, the $600 a year is an investment in maintaining your business for many years to come, making sure we have an industry that we can work in. But then it's your job to go extract additional value so that you cover that $600 investment that you're making each year. Thank you, though, for attending our boot camp today. By the way, you can go to our YouTube station. This goes live on our YouTube immediately, so you can head over to our YouTube station. I'm going to go through quickly the things that I think you should be executing on when you leave today, just kind of a recap of some of the more important things that we spoke of. The first thing I would execute on is a buyer presentation. The second piece I would focus on is a listing presentation, as well, buyer, seller, and investor packages, MLS mailings for doing your just listed, just sold postcards. TPMCO was the personal marketing company. That was the company that for $48, a one-time payment, would stay in touch with your clients for 5 years after closing. Go subscribe to our YouTube station at youtube.com/LAER training. And by the way, don't forget to also go to laeragentservices.com and bookmark this page because we're constantly updating it. This changes literally every single week. We add new stuff. And then last, I would go sign up for those lead platforms that we talked about. So that's like 7 or 8 items that I just gave you on some of the more important things from today that I think you should be executing on. Okay, I want to just make a quick plug before we end today's program. First of all, I want to say thank you for joining us for a 3-hour program. I mean, sitting for 3 hours on a Zoom is no easy feat. So I believe that shows your commitment to your business. And that's why I'm so passionate about making sure you write down some things you're going to go execute on, because you took so much time for your business. We want to make sure that you get as much value out of today as possible. And the only way to extract value is to go execute. So thank you for spending 3 hours with us today. If you are not a LAER agent and you liked any of the stuff that you heard today, we are actively expanding into every marketplace. So we have many offices throughout Massachusetts, New Hampshire. We technically have 1 office in Maine, but we have several more that we're going to be expanding into Maine. So we'll be able to cover the entire state of Maine. We're also expanding into Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island. We have several offices in Florida. Specifically in Florida, we cover West Palm Beach, Delray Beach, Port St. Lucie, and Wellington, although we are also expanding throughout Florida. So if you liked anything you heard today and you're interested in learning more about what we have to offer, you can head over to laerrealty.com/careers. Here you'll find, we have like a little video where it talks about why our agents like LAER. And then down at the bottom, we have a little form you can fill out to get some more information. By the way, we have this awesome little career guide that we created as well, that even if you don't join our company, if you're searching for a real estate brokerage, it tells you exactly how to shop for a real estate brokerage, because nobody ever teaches agents that. Like, what should you be looking for in a real estate brokerage? So we have a great little career guide to help you shop for a real estate brokerage there as well. If you're a broker owner and you like some of the stuff that you've heard today, we have a really cool powered by LAER program where we've helped some agents. For example, Rose Homes is one of my favorite partner offices out of Fairhaven, and they joined us 4 years ago with 5 agents, and now they have 40+ real estate agents in their marketplace, and they are powered by LAER. So their agents, their team gets all the same tools, training, support, etc., as any of our regular LAER agents. So with that, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us for a very comprehensive program today. If you ever want to reach out to me, Stacey Alcorn, I'm the founder of LAER. Feel free to email me at happyagent@laerrealty.com. Would love to have a conversation and find out what you're doing in your career. And then thank you to Sergio, Craig, and Ashley for presenting with us today. And we will be here same time next month, first Friday of every month. You can come back and catch a future boot camp. And thank you everyone for joining. Have a great start to your fall.